Tell me, though, what's his technique? That last strike, it seems invincible.
Hello and welcome to Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. My name is Con McKenna.
I'm Rebecca Hart.
And I'm Carl Stout.
Now this is episode 99.
Whoa.
So, hooray. Episode 100 will be coming up probably next week. Well, I mean...
if the universe exists.
I planned it to be next week, but I forgot to ask you guys if you're free next weekend. But
I'm actually... Well, we'll talk about it later. Not.
Okay, cool. Ideally next week, but just because Contagion is coming out... Weekly, which is like... Whatever. Weird, but okay. So...
I think it's like part of their... I think when they do this... it's actually quite often to get the trade out quickly, like rather than because I think a lot more people will go for trade for things like this.
They can also just write a trade instead of.
Yeah, but they seem to be like both DC and Marvel seem very reticent to do that, to accept that there are a lot of people that trade weight. So it seems that they're all like trying to get these last few single issue sales out of collectors and people who can't wait. Which I understand, but I think a lot of this weekly publishing thing has been to drive the trade sales. I mean that there's not as much delay anyway.
I mean, some of the stuff I'm reading I don't think really works for trades. Like, Bendis' Superman doesn't work for trades. That being said, it doesn't really work for anything because it's terrible.
No, I meant more for these like ones that are clearly like 5 or 6 issues weekly.
Right.
You know, the ones that are clearly mini series anyway, and then they just like they did it for Infinity Warps, the Secret Warps, whatever. They did it for. To be fair, even Hickman's X-Men is 12 issues but weekly, and the trade's coming out in December. So they want everyone to read this as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I saw this as just them trying to get a horror comic out by Halloween.
Which fair as well. I'm sure that plays into it. Yeah.
Basically, we're not going to. Since we're doing episode 100 next episode, we're not going to be covering this in 100. Though we don't really have plans for 100 yet. I do have something I'm shoving in there, but we need to fill out the rest of the episode too. So it'll be a long
episode. Send us your thoughts. Ask us requests. What would you like us to cover for our 100th show?
Yeah, I mean, hell, like, we could even do, like, a Q&A or something.
Yes,
I don't know, for episode 100.
Anything.
It doesn't even have to be about Iron Fist, so, you know, I'm sure it probably would be about Iron Fist.
Yeah,
but,
it would help if there was a connection, but it doesn't have to be. We'll answer anything.
Yeah, no, like, ask us anything. A Q&A, that could fill in some time. If there's a specific comic, that works too, but that might be tricky since there's, like... Most Iron Fist comics are connected to a larger run, but I'm sure there's like maybe someone has this like standalone thing they want to get covered or something. So we do actually have a request from a listener to cover a series, which is like I think a first. And he requested we cover the Ultimate Spider-Man arc where they're taking down the Kingpin, and it has Ultimate Iron Fist in it. And I said, sure. So we'll do that after Contagion, which means we'll be on a bit of a break from Joe Duffy's Power Man and Iron Fist run for a while, but I'm sure people will live. But anyway, back to my original point. Yeah, so we're going to be covering Contagion weekly, if possible. Not next week, but we'll cover like 2 issues in 1 week, because it's not like they're dense. So... yeah. But yeah, that brings us to, is there any Iron Fist news? No, there is not. The Mezzo Iron Fist figure or whatever got a bit of touching up done. Rebecca and Carl still hate it. I don't
hate it. I just don't love it.
It sounded like you hated
I think his costume looks like it's made of neoprene. Is because it has weird bumps and bulges. That doesn't mean I hate. I don't buy those models anyway, so I'm ambivalent. Like I'm like, if you like it, buy it. If you don't, go spend the money on other stuff.
Yeah.
I find it takes a lot for me to hate something, but yeah, I don't think it's amazing.
I already put it down at my local comic book shop for them to get it for me. It's not even solicited yet.
Of course.
They've already got my name written down. No, this is a new comic shop. They just opened recently.
No, we expect it of you.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'll put a link to that in the show notes. That'll be fun. Well, I mean, it'll be a picture. But anyway, moving on. What we are covering today is Contagion, which is a Marvel horror event. And, you know us, well, most of us, we love our horror. We love our weird body horror with things growing everywhere. And looks like this.
And it seems to be that's Danny's new little corner of the world.
Yeah.
I'm still reading The Incredible Hulk, by the way, despite the fact I know we're all laughing about the fact that I say I don't read horror, and that's the most body horror, disgusting, gross comic on the shelves right now.
I've heard it's a lot like Swamp Thing, actually.
It's getting more like Swamp Thing in tone.
Yeah.
Especially, and also someone persuaded me to not only read The Immortal Hulk this week, which I would have done anyway, but to read the Absolute Carnage tie-in, which was, again, incredible, but wow, everything is it's very messed up for poor little Bruce Banner right now.
Have you had a chance to look at the director's cuts?
I've been buying it digitally, so I've... you mean the ones where they brought out the new ones? No, I've been buying it. I'll wait.
The director's cut of Immortal Hulk 1 through 4, I haven't looked at any of them to see what they actually added.
Yeah, it's usually art, scripts. It's usually not that much, but enough to make it worth it. If you... Like, I got the ones for Vision, because I hadn't got all of Vision individually, and it was kind of worth it. And it's mostly things like scripts and designs and how pages came together and things like that. But so it's cool, but it's not essential.
Excellent.
All
right.
Yeah, I don't have much to add because I haven't actually been reading it. So,
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
You're missing out since the gross head job whack. The comics.
I know. I was going to read that, and I saw some panels and they look cool. Then I started reading Swamp Thing, and that's kind of filling my itch for that particular.
Yeah, which is totally fair.
So Contagion is like a Marvel horror event, kind of like zombies, except there's like growths everywhere. But the reason we're covering it is because it has Iron Fist in it. We weren't sure how much he was going to be in it, but it was Ed Brisson, so we had like a suspicion that he would be in it. More than just a big character.
And yeah, he was on one of the covers and Pay's on another cover, so...
But, you know, like he was on one cover, so we weren't sure if he was only going to be in it for like one issue, but it looks like he's going to be in it for more than one issue. But each issue, I feel like, is going to focus on a different hero, and the hero for this issue is the Thing, the lovable...
The ever-loving...
blue-eyed... Yeah, ever-loving blue-eyed Thing from Yancey Street. He's fighting off things.
Little goblins.
So it is. Let's just get to the credits first. So the writer is Ed Brisson. The artist is someone else. Do that for me.
I have no idea. Rose
Antonio. I got Antonio.
Yeah, I have no idea how that accent.
Sorry, Mr. Antonio.
It's an E with a circumflex, if anybody wants to know how that's pronounced at the end of a name.
Yeah. Colorist is Veronica Gandini, letterist is VC's Corey Petit, cover artist is Juan Jose Rip and Jesus Alberto, variant cover artist is Ryan Brown. which is production design, Nick Russell, assistant editor, Lindsay Cohick, editor, Jake Thomas.
Jake Thomas does the Iron Fist stuff as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, so the cover's pretty cool. It's, this thing fighting off a bunch of zombies. They're actually little imp things, actually.
Yeah, they look like little kobolds.
Which I don't think are in the issue.
Just to clear something up, more than likely that's on the cover artists. That's Jesus, not Jesus.
Well, it's spelled like Jesus, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they pronounce their J's with H's.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know. Apologies to anyone who I mispronounced, because I live on an island that's far away from everything, so, yeah. But yeah, no, cover does its job.
Yeah.
Even though those little gremlin things aren't in it, but, So,
What are you
yeah,
talking about?
they're not in it. It's just that
What?
one dude.
What?
I think well, let's go through it.
Did you read the issue?
Oh, wait, yeah, now I see. I'm going through it again. Look, I read the issue, but it's not like it was, super memorable.
I like the subway driver's face. That's classic.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, there's some crazy detail on this cover. Those, what are they called? Mole lights? Mole men? What are they?
Oh, that's right. I remember now. Yep. Yeah, mole lights, I think.
But there's some unbelievable. There's some work went into this cover.
Juan Jose Reap's really good. He does he's a really good artist, I have to say. So
it's definitely detailed. It's more
the
detailed.
colouring's really nice as well, actually, and it's got it's a pretty nice cover. You're not wrong. But let's carry on. Let's not spend too long on the cover.
All right, let's go to page 1, where the artwork takes a major step down.
Well, people don't tend to spend quite as long on the internal stuff as they do on covers. They don't get paid as much.
It's not bad, though.
I don't think it's bad.
I think it's quite good, actually.
I've seen a hell of a lot worse.
I didn't go from the cover to this and think, oh, this is terrible. I thought...
I would have been more appreciative with a centered mohawk.
Okay. But isn't that more to do with hairstyles than, like, the actual art?
No, that's the artist.
That's how your hair falls if you've got a mohawk.
I'm pretty sure her hair was like this before.
It doesn't start at the center and then go off.
It's not going to go straight up unless you gel
it does.
though.
That's how my hair looked when I had a mohawk.
Oh, let's talk center line. Center line.
Okay, it's
First
not
thing you learn
perfectly
in art.
center line, but it's like, geez, if that's the one thing on this entire page you have an issue with, the art's not bad.
Oh no, there's other things I have issues with.
If you have hair that long, it's not going to just stick up.
I think Carl's upset it's not directly in the center of her forehead. Maybe she cut it badly.
Right.
Thank you. I know she's blind, but...
Wow.
I think this is, like,
Carl's...
really picky, but fair. If it got to you, it got to you. For me, I was just like, I kind of like her hair. So there you go.
I mean, I think Carl's a gibbering madman, but...
I don't think I'd go that far. That's not nice.
No, that is true. That's accurate.
But speaking of...
1 week ago, Kunlun. Let's get started.
Yes, so... Obviously, a week ago, Kunlun, this is more Iron Fist related than I was going to be thinking when I opened this book, because I'm like, oh, it's definitely... Because I was hoping that... I think a couple of us are hoping that the virus would be, like, Kunlun related, and specifically plant people related. We don't know if it's plant people yet, but I hope it's plant people. And
we always
pronounce their names.
People. Well, how would you...
Lithy.
Yeah, I call... What would you say, Carl? Before you... don't do this. How would you pronounce it? And we'll say how we pronounce it.
I got to see it in front of me, to be honest with you.
Well, pull it up.
Yeah, come on, big man. Yeah, so I just want to, for episode 100, I do want to say, speaking of horror and Iron Fist, we did have a horror Iron Fist story come out recently as well, called The Phantom Limb. You guys remember us covering that last year. similar body horror type of stuff. So if you haven't read that yet, I would recommend reading that before episode 100. I would highly recommend reading it.
So
before
I would
episode
like to
100.
say my pronunciation, because I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I call them the Hill Three, but I
How do
generally
you
call
spell
them
it?
Hylthri.
If you can't spell it, you're not on a great start.
With an apostrophe before the first Y. But
If you
generally,
just-
I
if you
call
just
them.
look up-
Generally, as everyone, I call them the plant people. But if I have to, I call them the Hill Three.
The first appearance of them is Iron Fist Volume 1, Issue 2. So if you look that up, you'll be able to find them easier. Because I had the same problem as well. But yeah, guys, definitely read Phantom Limb before...
Definitely read
episode
Phantom Limb,
100.
and it's a good one to read as part of your Halloween reading anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice Halloween
Yeah.
story. It even has like a Coney Island monster mash going on. So,
Yeah.
you know, let's see. Hierolithy. Yeah, I just, in my head, it's like Hierolithy. It's probably not, it's almost certainly not correct. That's
Yeah,
how
I
pronounce it.
I don't think there is a correct pronunciation until we hear someone from Marvel come out and actually say it.
Or in Iron Fist Season 3, where they make
Yeah.
their big...
Okay, you keep hoping for that.
Clutch tight to that, Connor.
We'll notice that Carl still hasn't pronounced it, though.
I just finally pulled it up, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
go on.
Even searching Kunlun plant people brought up nothing on Google, which I'm kind of shocked with. Hylithri, I'd say.
One day
No,
we will find
I
out who was
disagree.
right.
But
not
actually,
today.
I think, yeah. So anyway, that issue aside, I liked the first page. I opened it, I'm like, oh cool, it's Kunlun.
I liked how colourful it was in the background. Again, I really like the colouring. And I liked that finding out that we're still in Brisson's continuity with Sparrow as the UT.
Yeah, and also Kerry Andrews' continuity and General Iron Fist continuity. So
Yeah,
we have no
okay,
Bendis
but
here.
we've already established that Brisson was carrying on from that. I didn't feel I had to, go back that far. But yeah.
Well, the only reason I mentioned that is because some people were asking me about that.
Okay. Fair.
If this was like current Iron Fist canon, and I said since Living Weapon, it has been the current Iron Fist canon. So I think people got confused because, well, yeah, lots of things happened. But
honestly, Brisson's. I don't think anyone's taken away from what Brisson has dropped. I think people have added to it, but I don't think a single person has ever retroconned anything he's done.
Are you sure you mean Brisson and not Andrews? Because no one's actually written Iron Fist since Brisson.
Well,
yes, I mean
the
Andrews,
Phantom Limb. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. That, due to certain info I've acquired, I believe that was Marvel editorial wanting to set it in the past with the white costume thing. But like that whole thing is really unclear, so I'm not sure. But I don't think that retcons anything from this. But there is continuity errors there, but they're not the worst continuity errors. There's been worse, like Bender's just having the UT back in Avengers vs. X-Men with no explanation because he doesn't read comic books. And he's a hack, and he sucks.
I disagree, but I disagree. I do have issues with Bendis, but I wouldn't say he's a hack and he sucks completely. So.
If you read his new Superman issues,
right? I know, but I know.
Worst...
I understand you don't like them, but some people are enjoying them, and I don't think we should totally diss things that some people are enjoying. And in the same way as I don't like what Bendis did with Iron Fist. We all know I don't like what Bendis did with Iron Fist, but there are Bendis comics I've read that I've enjoyed.
Me too, but I'm not talking about he treated Superman or anything. Like the issues themselves, their structure, the way they just abandoned every plot thread in the previous issues so he could just focus on something else, like his character that he just created. It's like the most see-through, artificial thing I've ever read. I'm not like I don't think anyone has actually enjoyed it. I would be confident in saying that, but I will be talking about that on my other podcast later. So, you'll get to hear it all over again.
Well, I just think generally we should always accept that we don't have perfect taste ourselves. Maybe. So it's always just our opinions.
Yeah, I know, but this is like, I mean, even when I talk about something I really hate, like The Last Jedi, I understand that there's people who like it, but this isn't like a nitpick thing for me. I just thought it was just like, how did editing let him... Anyway. I'll go into that later on another thing. So, yeah, let's get back to this first page.
Yeah.
I have some serious problems with some of the written dialogue on these pages.
Okay.
Which is, yeah.
Like, would you constantly ask a blind person to see and look?
Some people do. On the basis that, yeah, I mean, that first one, well... People do, is the truth. I mean, I don't know.
It's actually, I would say, like, it didn't bug me that much because it's Kunlun, but he does keep saying it, and even, like, she's obviously, like, feeling her way around the room and sniffing.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you can see. And he's like, I'm like, no, she can't.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bug me that much, but it is a bit silly because he does keep saying it. But at least it's like, it could be worse because it could be drawn like she's looking at it, but it's not. Because that does happen. I read a lot of Daredevil and people seem to forget he's blind sometimes, so... Yeah.
So, Sparrow and one of the, I'm guessing, other female guards, or male guards, I can't really tell
I thought he was just like a monk.
Yeah, he
the
looks
gender
like
of the person next to them.
They look male.
Is hanging out on a balcony, and someone calls out to her as the UT, which she is now, and says, there is something you need to see. And next on page 2, we're in some building, and a guy has a lit lantern saying, 6 days ago, 3 of our men discovered this staircase beneath the temple floor. This one guy's lifting a trapdoor that doesn't really look like it would be hiding. But there's some rubble on it, so there might have been something above it, covering it, like an altar. Now they're heading down some stairs, and the UT Sparrow kind of reminds me of Baroness from G.I. Joe. But that could be just because of the red circle on the chest. They're saying that none of their records show that this staircase should even exist, so they went to investigate this discovered catacombs under the building, a labyrinth of tunnels. We nearly got lost ourselves several times as we looked for them. And then we see this disgusting green stuff oozing out of the nose and mouth, bubble covered.
Yeah, the sort of fungal like infection.
Torso head.
Yeah. So, and she's kind of, I don't want to say look. I'm just going to say she's kind of looking around the room, and she doesn't touch anything.
No.
But yeah, they had been barricaded in this room, and it took them several hours to break through. So, the other thing is, like, this is a new regime in Kunlun, so there's probably a lot of stuff they don't know about that's hidden away. And we all know the old UTs love to hide horrible secrets. From people. So who knows what they have hidden in these catacombs. This could just be the tip of the iceberg. But yeah, and then there's 2 others that are covered with a similar substance. And
it smells of foulness and rot.
And then there's someone missing. Where is the 3rd man?
Dun dun dun.
And we get the big Contagion, with all the writing credits and stuff. And we go all the way from Kunlun to Yancey Street in New York, where we get to our ever-loving blue-eyed protagonist for the issue, The Thing.
Yes.
Who's going shopping.
For cat litter.
Yeah.
Yeah. My area
he
of
doesn't
expertise.
Scented, unscented clay, silica, pine, walnut shell. Geez, it's enough to make your head spin.
Because they have cats now, him and Alicia, in case anyone didn't know. If you've been reading the Fantastic Four comic, they have cats.
Who's writing that?
Slot, Dan Slot.
Is it good?
Look, I'm not still reading it because my work situation changed. What I read about it, what I read of it was it started quite slow, but the issues I've read I've enjoyed, and the wedding issue was good, and the honeymoon issue was good, which was a fight between Thing and the Hulk, which is why I read that one. And so I think it's pretty good. I mean, people I know still reading it really enjoy it, but honestly, I've just had to drop it. So
they got married again. Who got married?
The Thing and Alicia.
Oh, okay. I think you meant Reed and Sue, but
no, because they have already been married.
Yeah.
But no, it was Ben's turn to get married. It was very sweet, and it was a very nice little wedding issue.
So some kid wants him to help. He says there's stuff going down in the subway, and the things like, last time I helped, one of you punks dropped a bucket of slime on my head. So
because
why would I? Yeah.
Street kids. Nah, it's just like,
yeah.
Seems a bit gruff of him, but hey.
But hey, I mean, this cat needs to poop.
He did not. Well, maybe they should get the cat litter before it's urgent.
The Thing strikes me as a pretty gruff character.
Yeah, he can be, but he always goes to help.
I mean, he still goes to help.
Exactly. You know.
Yeah, so they go down and...
He's the Thing is commonly always helping the common guy.
Yeah.
Where Reed, wouldn't be bothered unless there was a superhero incident, that needed superheroing. Other than that, Reed can't be bothered. Where, I mean, the Thing will take care of a serial mugger.
Yeah. He's
and
always
have no problem with
hanging out with the kids of the street as well, looking after
the local poker games, all kinds of stuff. Is he still the richest one?
Who?
Reed.
No, the Thing.
I mean, I don't keep up with Fantastic.
I don't know, because the last I knew was Johnny inherited everything and then they all came back, so I don't really know where everything stands.
Because in one issue, somebody somehow broke the Fantastic Four, so everything was confiscated. All their money, all their assets, the building, everything was taken from Reed, and because of his marriage and his brother-in-law, everything that they had also, because of the marriage, was also confiscated. But from the get-go, everything he's created, everything he's ever done, everything that's produced money, Ben Grimm has gotten a 25% share of it, just because that's how Reed rolls. And because Ben Grimm was not family and not by marriage, they weren't able to touch his money. So everybody was broke and wiped out, but Ben still had all his money, and he didn't even know he had a bank account.
Well, I know when Johnny inherited, he inherited a lot. So I don't know. That'd be another of those. Who knows? They've probably ignored any continuity and just I doubt anyone at Marvel really knows which of them is the richest right now.
But the kid does persuade after Ben buys the unknown origin kitty litter to go into the sewers to find out what's going on. Well, not sewers, the subway.
Subway, yeah.
So what's going on? And it definitely looks like they're in an abandoned subway.
Yeah, so they're down in the subway.
At midnight.
And there's the kids... The kids going... sorry, you said midnight?
Yeah, down at the tube station at midnight. It was a little joke in there, but carry on.
Oh, okay. So the kids talking about how there's one of his friends. They found this dude who was covered in coloured fuzz, which is kind of gross.
Yeah.
And apparently he came out of nowhere. He was talking in Chinese or something, and he grabbed Ruby, his friends, and he couldn't see them anymore. I was freaked out, man. Dude was crazed. And they find Ruby, and she's doing that creepy, hunched over pose, and they touch her, and blah, 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 blah. She's all covered in spores and stuff, and
Yeah.
The
She
Thing's
looks
like,
pretty
yeah,
nice.
get behind. And the Thing's like, I'm not going to fight her. And he doesn't. He doesn't do anything. She just kind of falls over.
Yeah.
And the Thing's just trying to... So he starts taking her away. Because she's like full on collapsed.
Yeah.
He's covered her with a jacket. And
Yeah,
he's
because
taking her to the
clever
hospital.
enough to know not to touch anyone who looks that gross.
Yeah. I wouldn't take her to the hospital. I'd take her to Reed.
Yeah, honestly, I'm actually surprised how long it took him to call Reed. I would have thought with Ben's and his experience, as soon as that girl turned around and looked like that, he would have been like, Reed? We have a situation here.
And at this point, he has to hand the girl over to the kid because a bunch of moloids break through. And this is when he calls Reed. And Reed's doing his typical, I'm in the middle of an experiment, blah, 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 blah.
I'm busy ignoring my wife and family. How can I help you?
Classic Reed. Well, I mean, she's sitting next to him, so... but, yeah, he's fighting off a bunch of moloids, and we have... So, he's essentially filled him in on the situation. The Fantastic Four are on their way in the Fantastic Car, which we remember got stolen. Power Man and Iron Fist, and they have to get it back from those purple villains. But we have Mole Man making his entrance.
Yep.
Go now, Mr. Grimm. And he basically says that not only is there somebody around there covered in this crap touching people and infecting them, but the diseased man kind of takes you over. But he broke free. He broke free from the takeover, and great.
Broke free temporarily.
Yeah.
But it might be an important detail later. So who knows? But yeah, he does this big leap in the air, like goes to whack him with his stick, and the Thing just punches him away.
But obviously these things have been all over him, so...
So I'm going to assume the Thing's immune to infection unless he gets some in his mouth or something, because he is made of rock, so...
Yeah, he doesn't really have anything to infect.
Yeah. His eyes, maybe. You know, I'm sure. But the Fantastic Four come in.
Wearing protective gear, because Reed don't fool around.
Yeah.
He doesn't fool around yet. They should be wearing protective helmets.
They should be wearing protective helmets, not just little breathing masks.
Like full-on hazmat suits,
yeah.
I would think. Or has-bat suits, because Batman has a has-bat suit. I was reading Justice League recently, and I found it quite amusing.
Here we go. Johnny Storm gives us the correct term of moloid. So it's not a molite or a mole man.
Moloid.
It's a moloid.
Right. We are not the Fantastic Cast, guys. I'm sorry. But we do like them, so, you know. But yeah, so they're fighting them, and then what looks like to be the guy, not Patient Zero, but the guy who escaped, he's like, help me, please. So Reed walks right up to him. Which is like, I enjoyed this issue, but that's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Diagnosing him, it looks like we have some type of skin infection, trouble breathing, sensitivity to light, blah, blah, blah.
Like, if this... I mean, this is Reed Richards. I don't think he would just walk up to them and...
No, I don't know.
I have to get a bit outraged for the sake of Reed Richards fans, so I'm sure are really annoyed at him doing this. So he walks right up to the dude, and surprise, surprise, the dude grabs onto him and he gets infected.
And then says, don't let him touch you.
And then Johnny flies into him like a hothead. Ha ha. And then he gets grabbed. And Sue's like trying to cover everyone in a bubble.
Yeah, which possibly would have been a good idea, again, immediately.
Because
like Reed could have gone up and looked at him, but with a force field around him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I'd like to stand up for the two of these two brilliant scientists. Like, you expect Johnny and the Thing to occasionally do impetuous things. Like, not that they're dumb, because they're not, but like Reed's at sort of super genius level, and Sue's not far out. You know, and the fact that they've both got skills that, you know, like Reed could, like, first of all, why aren't they in hazmat suits? Second of all, she can make force fields.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, like, yeah, I mean, if this is like another Fantastic Four comment, she'd be like, hang on, Reed, let me put a force field around this guy.
Yeah,
so
or he'd be like, Sue, cover me. You know,
Yeah.
one or the other.
But, like, Sue actually, while she doesn't do that, at least she doesn't get infected kind of stupidly because she's in a bubble.
Yeah, she does stop it getting worse.
But the stuff, like, goes under the...
Yeah.
Because you can kind of see the stuff is going from his leg to under the ground, and then it comes up under her and grabs her. And the Thing is quite upset at this new development.
So I have to wonder, is this part of his original power, or can he do this because he just touched Reed? So I have to wonder here what this guy can possibly do.
I think it's because he touched Reed.
Because then he also, doesn't he let out with like an energy blast?
Yeah. So
after touching Johnny.
Yeah.
So
well,
like,
is it after
Super
touching
Skrull,
Johnny, or is he
version.
just doing it anyway? Maybe he is the Super Skrull. Who knows? Wasn't he hanging out with the Heil 3 at some point?
He was, yes.
Just saying.
And Sue actually says it appears that he's absorbing their powers.
Yeah. So I just assumed that. But I don't know if the energy blast is Johnny, because he'd be flame.
So we have a weird thing here, like...
But that might also be a weird colouring thing, so who knows. But you're right, it looks energy blast to me.
I think there might be a bit of a kerfuffle here, because she's holding Reed in a bubble while Johnny's flying. But then she's only holding Johnny in a bubble and not Reed. And Reed is like... I don't know, like the Thing's talking like Reed, and he's like, please help me, I'm trapped, it hurts. And it's going with Reed's voice.
I
So
think
it's like,
I think the help me, I'm trapped, it hurts is is patient 0. Oh no, it's not, because he's saying to help me.
Yeah, but
yeah,
Reed's like
a
on the
bit
ground.
confusing.
So, but anyway, he buggers off.
Yeah, anyway, so Thing gets, the patient 0-y Thing gets Sue.
Yeah. And we go to home of Daniel Rand, Manhattan, New York, and it's like nighttime, and
his nice loft apartment, remember, with the dragon.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's there anymore.
No,
I
think he let the dragon be where the dragon needs to be.
Which was awesome. That totally made up for those 2 mediocre issues with Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
So he can hear someone sneaking around.
Yeah. He's in bed alone, we should point out.
Yes, he's...
in case they were playing up the Danny Playboy.
Yeah, because he's in bed with people.
It happens, you know. But I'm just trying to be specific about him.
Which I guess that started happening in Living Weapon, and then it happened in Phantom Limb. But like
and
those
it happened in Was it in Defenders? Oh well. Okay. No, maybe not.
I actually didn't read Defenders.
I love Defenders. Somebody request Defenders, please. Matt Fraction Defenders. It's really good.
Oh no, I've read that one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I thought you meant the recent kind of Bendis Netflix tie-in.
Oh, I read that and it was trash.
Okay.
No, to be fair, okay, I have to elaborate now. It's written fine, and everything about it's fine, but it goes nowhere. It's just kind of like, here's a comic, and it's got an amazing fight scene. It's got some amazing, really well drawn fights, and Danny's not terrible in it or anything. It's just just doesn't go anywhere. It literally is made to go, these are your characters from Netflix. Here, we've chucked them all in a comic, and you just end up going, okay. But I was just unmoved by it.
Danny's not terrible, because Bendis is known to treat Danny
well. It even has some nice interactions with Jessica and Danny as well, with her saying, you know, I love you really, kind of thing. It's quite It's actually, no, he doesn't treat him badly in it.
Well, he doesn't break his back.
Well, you know what I mean.
So Danny, he finds Sparrow, and she's like, but your entire world is about to be destroyed, Daniel Rankai. And he's like, of course it is.
Yeah.
Now that's a properly centered mohawk.
It looks exactly the same as it does in the first panel to me. It still looks off-centered to me.
Looks center line to me there looks better.
Okay,
Really, I'm
moving on from
really
this
glad that that's the thing you got
issue.
stuck on.
Danny's like, mind if I put up some pants on before we save the day? So, yeah, and to be continued. I'm glad we don't have to wait too long to find out what's going on. Because, look, I mean, this is like a popcorn flick equivalent of, a comic. But I'm fine with that. It's like a weekly thing. I can munch, enjoy my, I'm just glad Iron Fist is in it. It's so weird. But I'm glad it's Brisson because, I never thought Iron Fist lore would be the center of a viral infection, but it's something that they totally should do because there's so much untapped Kunlun stuff, So I'm glad we're getting a bit of lore expansion. And our next Contagion 2 seems to be Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah. Which
will be fun,
On
Yancey Street. Yep. I'm pretty sure the Thing is in it as well. I thought the art was good throughout. Like,
so
it was a bit.
I thought it was fine. I thought the faces were good, and the action was good. I really like the coloring.
It was very crisp.
Yeah, it seems like really crisp, and like I said, there's a lot of comics right now where the art puts me off. So it's kind of nice that I didn't get that.
I mean, that being said, I guess they could have gone with more stylized art since they're doing a horror thing.
Yeah, I like it.
But I'm not expecting like Shakespeare from this, so
good, really.
Yeah,
but because people probably wouldn't enjoy it if it was Shakespeare, unless they were me.
I like Shakespeare. So. You not like Shakespeare. His bald mullet. But yes, anyway, that was the first issue. It's promising. Like, I mean, I guess my big complaint is the Fantastic Four being really stupid. Because, actually they could have, like, if they have them not act stupid, then you could have really creative ways to infect them.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just, like, grabbing them, But, it is what it is. And then we have, like, a little thing about Brisson at the end saying how much he loves horror movies and comic books, and he likes writing a horror movie comic book series.
Yay.
Yeah. So that's the issue. It's nothing too crazy. I guess we'll see what happens next week. And everyone's like, oh, they're just ripping off Deceased. It's aping Deceased. Just shut up. Okay, because if we're going to go down that
clearly
road...
seems to be the comic this one's up against in terms of similarity, but it's not. I think when we saw Contagion initially announced, it was like, oh no, another zombie book. Apologies for the swearing. But so I'm kind of glad it isn't.
Dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah, it's the most likely to happen. I'm the Brit, so like we swear the most. Which, by the way, if anyone's seen the preview for the new Constantine, full of swearing, we love it.
What, the book?
Yeah. We're getting a British writer, and there's a lot of very good swearing in it.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
So, bollocks.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I'm kind of glad this is, and it's also not alternate universe. And
yes, exactly.
It's a nice little, it's a little niche little, I think you're right, run up to Halloween comic to say they've done something, but instead of it just being like, they often do those little compilations where everyone writes short stories. This one feels like it's going to be a lot more satisfying, whether I like every aspect of it or not, because I agree with you about Johnny and Sue, but it just feels like we're actually getting a proper story for better, and obviously we love Iron Fist, so we're a little bit biased here, but it's kind of nice to see him being focused and centered. And
like there's definitely a level of bias here because we're an Iron Fist podcast, but we're not used to Iron Fist having a role in any event ever.
There's certainly not a central one that isn't just him being not kidnapped, but like him getting into trouble somehow and needing help and plus, from people.
It's the extra horror thing for me, so But I feel like Marvel probably just went, "Hey, Brisson, can you write a horror comic?"
Yeah,
and he's
I agree, and he was like, "These are the characters I'd like to use. They're not being used anywhere else. Go for it."
Yeah. because these definitely feel like Brisson's picks for characters,
Oh, for
not
sure.
Marvel's. So I doubt Marvel will be like, have Iron Fist, Kunlun release the zombie virus, and So, but with DC, I mean, like, if we're going down that road,
we're not really too much. You can do a little bit.
But it's like, well, then surely by that logic, Deceased ripped off Marvel Zombies. To be fair, that was one of the things people said right at the beginning. They were like, is this Marvel Zombies? So the Flash does the exact same thing as Quicksilver did in Marvel Zombies. So
and Deceased isn't really zombies either. It's a slight twist on zombies, but
yeah.
There's only so many ways you can do zombies and infection and like mass infection, and unfortunately, every Halloween we're gonna get them from every company that can. You've either got to do like vampires, werewolves, zombies, ghosts. You've got a limit to monsters.
As what was pointed out to me, Deceased is the plot of Cell. Like they look at phone screens and stuff and get infected and turn into zombies. So I'm like, hey, how did I forget that Cell did that? But anyway, so, put aside all your stupid company wars and blah, 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 it's ripping up, blah, 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 and, just enjoy it if it's good. And, I enjoyed this, so I guess we'll see where it goes. I enjoyed it more than Ed Brisson's Ghost Rider, unfortunately, which also came out.
I didn't read that,
week.
But I'm not a big, I kind of like Robbie is like, the time I didn't read a lot of old Ghost Rider growing up in the same way I didn't read a lot of Venom, so for me like Flash is still my favourite Venom and Robbie is still the Ghost Rider I know the most about. Doesn't mean I don't like the other ones, I just don't not enough to go and buy comics specifically about them.
I mean, just
so I don't know enough about them to say which Ghost Rider I like best, but I know Robbie best, so
I just thought the art was kind of basic for what it was, and it was just not that interesting, which is a real shame, and plus I feel like, I just need to know too much about Ghost Rider continuity to enjoy it, so,
right.
Well,
speaking of other books, Bizarre Adventures #1 came out.
Oh, I saw it, but what was that one about? Is it a new comic, or is it a reprint?
It's all new. There's new stories in there, but it's a shout out to the Bizarre Adventure magazine that came out in the 80s. And inside there is a cool Shang-Chi story and a cool Dracula story.
I saw there was a Ulysses Bloodstone.
Yep.
But
that's the first story.
I got confused when I was in the shop yesterday and didn't know if it was all new stuff or I don't know why. I just was like, I'll just buy something else instead. Oh, it's Becky Cloonan did the Dracula one.
All brand new. There's a Black Goliath story too.
I might pick it up. Thank you.
But there's a really cool. I think I Am Iron Fist on Facebook may have posted there's a double page fight scene for the Shang-Chi story. Where it's very like what they've done with Iron Fist in the past, or like breaking down like Monkey's Claw and stuff like that with every attack move.
That makes sense because it's such a good, it's a really nice way of doing it. So I'm not surprised other people have been like, let's do that as well.
I'll still say my favourite bit from Phantom Limb is when his hand was using those kung fu moves on him.
Yeah, that was
just
fun.
by itself. So for episode 100, guys, definitely let's do like a Q&A. So just ask us questions. It can be for all of us or one of us, whatever.
You can ask
and we'll
Carl all about his Iron Fist collection.
And the
you don't have enough show.
Ask him very specific questions about his Iron Fist collection.
Tell us about your Iron Fist collection. Tell us about the 80s. Tell us about those cups of coffee you like.
It's like...
But definitely ask us about whatever.
Ask Connor all about Benders, please.
Yeah, totally.
His
I haven't talked
favourite
about on this podcast enough.
Yeah, exactly. Or about the Danny Misty relationship.
There you go.
I mean, I'm not.
Well, that's why he wants to cover the Ultimate Spider-Man story, because there's Misty's not in it.
I mean,
Danny and Colleen, and they have a kid.
I dislike Colleen and Danny much more than I dislike
I
Missy
should
and
hope
Danny.
so,
It's a
blimey.
relationship. Blimey, crikey.
Blimey.
So yeah, no, ask us questions, give us Q&A. If you have any specific requests as to what you want us to do, something you want us to do on episode 100, do that too. But yeah, make sure you do, otherwise I'll have a short episode. So
Otherwise
yeah, and
you get
also
our choice.
doubly make sure you read Iron Fist: The Phantom Limb if you haven't read it yet, or if you feel like rereading it, because I think it's quite good, before the episode, because we do have Phantom Limb related content
Woohoo.
in there. If you're really smart, you can figure it out. But yeah, okay. So it was fun. We'll see you guys hopefully next week, if not in 2 weeks. But until next time, don't approach some guy who's obviously infected with some horrible virus, like beyond leprosy, just things growing out of him.
Yeah, don't do it.
Without a hazmat
And
suit.
try and stay away from Mole Man generally,
Yeah, generally do that as well.
because he's never good news.
Yeah, and don't trust people from Kunlun.
Yeah.
You stink.
Yeah,
They're
all right.
shady.
Well, I like
Very-
Sparrow, so you can trust her.
I mean, if we're just going by a ratio of trustworthy leaders,
Well, to be fair, yeah.
yeah. Okay, until next time, see ya.
See you.
Adios.
Iron Fist and all other characters in these comics are properties of Marvel and Disney. Any music or images we use belong to their respective copyright holders. We do this for fun, so please don't sue us. You can contact us at sonsofthedragonpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us mail, comments, thoughts, anything you want really. Doesn't even have to be related to Iron Fist. If you don't want it read on the air though, make sure you mention that. You can also find us on Facebook, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast, Sons of the Dragon, our Twitter, at Iron Fist Podcast, our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sons of the Dragon, hyphens where the spaces are, our YouTube, Connor Carl, just search Iron Fist Podcast and you'll find us real quick. We are also on iTunes. If you find us there, give us a review and rate us. If it's less than 5 stars, please say why so we can improve the show. And we're on Podcast Garden in the literature section, and last but not least, head over to our WordPress, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast.wordpress.com. That's where I put all the show notes. I'd like to thank Thomas Tissot for composing the Iron Fist theme song we use at the start of our Iron Fist episodes on the podcast. I'd also like to thank Peter John Sikorsky for composing the Power Man and Iron Fist theme we use at the start of our Power Man and Iron Fist episodes. And finally, thanks to you guys for listening.